أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وفوق كل ذي علم عليم صدق الله العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We are going in this lab to talk about histogram. Histogram is one of the most important descriptive statistics. It is allowing you to have a quick idea about the distribution of the data in the data set. Histogram looks like the bar chart, but it is not like the bar chart. Histogram is mainly used to describe and perform graphical interface for the continuous or numerical data, while bar chart is mainly used to describe the discrete or categorical data, which is non-numerical data, such as grade letter, such as names, such as school, such as city, such as product, and so on. In this lab, I am going to make a demonstration for different types of histogram. Look at the first one. It is called symmetric histogram. The symmetric histogram, as you see here, the distribution is almost equal in two sides. So as you see, we have data here for grades, this data, and this is something called bill, and this is frequency. The bill is a class interval. The class interval is, if you look at this data and look at this bill, there is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 5 means that all values, that is up to 5. So if you look at this data simply, see, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 values, that's up to 5. Okay. The next one is 10. It means between 5 to 10, but it does not include 5. It starts with the next one. So let me see, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. We have 7, as you see, 7 values, which is here indicated by the frequency. So in order to generate a histogram, you have first to define the frequency of the data. If this data this data now, as shown here, can be simply generated using the frequency formula. There is a frequency formula. So let me show you. Assume that I have decided to use these bins or class intervals this way. So let me call it class interval. And in the next column now, let me use the frequency formula in Microsoft Excel. So in this frequency formula equals frequency and highlight or select all values, comma, simply select the bin array or the class interval values, which is coming as array, like this way. Then click enter. As you see, Excel has automatically identified all frequency for the class interval. There is more than one way to draw a histogram, but the most important to understand is what is the meaning of the histogram. Look at the x-axis and y-axis. The horizontal or x-axis is representing the class interval. So look at this one. We have here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So this is the class interval. Look at the vertical. The vertical axis, or y, is representing the frequency. Okay. We are going to represent the height of the bar using the frequency in case these bars are, the class interval is equal. The meaning of this is now, if you look at this class interval 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, you will see that the difference between each of them is fixed. It is 5. So look, We have here 5, 5, between 5 and 10, 5, 10 to 15, 5, 15 to 20, 5, 20 to 25, 5 as well. So this is the width of the class interval. Okay. So when we have an equal class interval, then simply the vertical axis is representing the frequency, means how many observations. So this bar now, the height of this bar is representing the frequency as you see. But this is not the case in all histogram types. I told you first that histogram is not the same as bar chart. In bar chart, the height of the bar chart is simply representing the frequency only. But mainly the histogram, the height of the histogram is not that is representing the frequency. Practically histogram, the area of histogram, which is the height multiplied by the width, that is representing the frequency. So this allows us to get an accurate impression when the class interval is not equal. And this is what we will see after some time. If the class interval is not the same, then the height of the histogram should not represent the frequency, because it will mislead you. It will give you unreal picture about the distribution of data. Right now, let me show how I got this symmetric, or how I got this one using Excel. It is very simple. I can now simply go to data and click on data analysis toolpack, then go to histogram and click OK. Once you do this now, you will see that the histogram dialog box has appears. You have first to select the input range, which is these grids. Okay. Second, you have to specify the bin range, which is the class interval. In this example now, I am going to use this class interval as it is. Okay. Third, is it a new worksheet? Okay, let us put it in the same output range, make it in the same worksheet here. And there is a chart option to show chart as well. Then click OK. Now look, Microsoft Excel has automatically drawn a bin column and the frequency as you see, and draw the histogram. If you look at this histogram, this is the same, but it first comes like what? Like bar chart. Look at this one. It is not the look of the histogram. The histogram is mainly continuous bars. Why it is continuous bars? Continuous bars indicating that it is measuring continuous data. It is not measuring categorical data. So, in order to change these bars from bar chart as they appear to histogram, then let us right click on any bar, then go to format data series. In this format, look at the series options and go to this gap width and remove. So drag this gap width to become 0. In this situation, it will become histogram as you see. At the same time, look, still there is no border between them. Let us have some border. So let us go to fill and go to border option and make it solid line. And what is the color of this line? Make it white. Now look, we got now the histogram as you see, and this is symmetric histogram. So symmetric histogram in indicating like normal distribution. Okay. Let us go to see another type of histogram, skewed right. This one, the skewed right histogram, as you see, the bars are coming, they are directing from up to down into the right side. This is called the skewed right histogram. The skewed right histogram is indicating that the high values are more than the low values are repeated more than high values. So if you look at this one, you will see that we have class interval 5, 0 to 5, then 5 to 10, then 15, then 20, then 25. Let us right click and go for add data label to see the numbers. Look at the numbers here. Okay, I'm going now to show the labels. Look at the numbers. We have 7 observations or frequency 7 for the first one. It means that the number of students who got between 0 and 5 is 7, while the students who got between 5 and 10 are 6, less, and 15 is 5, and 20 is 4, and who got 20 to 25, 3 students only. So this is skewed right histogram. It is giving you simply indicator that the high concentration is in the low part, not on the high part. Okay. Let us have a look to skewed left. Skewed left histogram is opposite to skewed right. The concentration here is in the high side, not on the low side. So as you see, when you look at these grades, you will get to know that most of or high percentage of students got high grades in this test, not like the previous one. So skewed left histogram is indicating that high concentration is going to the upper side or to higher side. Now let us have a look to this misleading histogram. So if you look at this histogram now, we will see that we have this sort of data, okay, grades. And based on this data now, I have generated 2 different histograms. Look, we have histogram A, which is based on equal class interval. If you look at the bin for the class for histogram A, you will see that it is coming 10, 20, 30. Okay, so look, it is giving you indicator that when you go to 30 column, there is high. The concentration is in, the highest one is in the 30 level. Now look at the next one, histogram B, which is unequal class interval. If you look at this one, you will see that we have bin, and if you look at this bin, which is indicating the class interval, it is showing here 5, 25, and 30. So that means that the class width here is between 5 and 25 is 20, and between 25 and 30 is 5. So it is unequal class interval. If you have a quick look to this histogram, you will see that the 30 bar is going down. So if you are now looking at both histograms and you are not aware about the reason of this, you will have an impression when you look the first one that students who got 30 is the highest level. Okay? And when you have a look to the next one, which is based on the same data, you will simply have an impression that students who got 30 are lower than who got 25. So while this is not true, so this type of histogram is misleading histogram. So what is the reason of this? The reason that Microsoft Excel does not consider unequal class intervals. So again, Microsoft Excel is ignoring unequal class interval. It is always assuming that the class width is the same, is equal. So that's why when there is unequal class interval, we should not consider the frequency as the height of the histogram. Instead, the height of the histogram, which you see here, should be determined by the frequency density. So frequency density in histograms, which is based on unequal class intervals, has to determine the height. In this situation, the area of the histogram, which is the height multiplied by the width, will construct the frequency of data. Okay, so let us now have a practical work now and take the same data to another sheet to see how we can draw manually unequal histogram. Then we will go to see the real picture of this data right now. So going to this sheet, next sheet, and paste. So I got the same data now. So now what I am going to do is to again put the class interval, which is 5, 25, 30. Here, this is the class interval, and now this is the frequency. So let us get the frequency using the frequency formula. So equals frequency, highlight the whole grade, column, then comma, and highlight the class interval, then click enter. Now we got already, as you see, the frequency for this one. So what are we going to do? We are going now to apply the real formula behind constructing the histogram. So what is this formula? This formula is, if we consider the class interval, we have class interval and we have frequency. The frequency will be f, okay, and the width or interval, it will be like w, okay, or cw, class width. What is the class width in this situation? You will see that the class width is 5, 20, and 5. So this is the class width. So we have now the class width, which is the 5, 20, and 25. Now let us have the frequency density, FD. The frequency density actually has a formula. The formula is FD equals F, the frequency divided by class width, CW. So this is the formula which will generate the frequency density. So now let us apply this one here. So equals what? Frequency divided by class width. So it gives us 5. Now let us drag and drop. So now we got the frequency density here. I am making this in bold. Okay. So what we are going now to do is to draw manually a histogram that will take the frequency density as the vertical axis, and the class interval is the same as horizontal axis. So based on this one, we are going to draw a histogram that will represent the real picture of this data, which is based on unequal class interval. So let us now see how we can draw manually graph in Microsoft Excel. You know that normally when you go to Microsoft Excel, you are drawing the data based on the chart type and you are selecting the vertical and horizontal axis. Then Excel is automatically generating this for you. But maybe you did not think before, how do I draw manually a graph in Microsoft Excel? Excel with the correct dimensions means the dimensions of the vertical axis and horizontal axis without drawing this manually using the ruler, for example. So let us see. Now if I select this class interval and click on control, then select, then after clicking control selected, keep the control clicked and select this class sorry, not this one, select the frequency density. Now I have done something called multi-selection. Then let us insert. So insert what? Let us go to this chart, this scatter y, x, y bubble chart, and let us now click on the first one. See what happened. We got here chart, this chart, let us make it larger. Okay, look at this chart now. We have got the vertical axis, which is the class which will construct the frequency density, and we got here the class interval, which we are requiring it to get what? To get the horizontal axis. Okay, So what about these dots? We don't want them. So let us right click and see how we can hide this. Go to format. In this format, click on this fill options and go to this marker, and let us say that we are going to use no line, and let us see it removed it, but not yet. Okay, let us now fill the marker and make it, go to the fill and make it no fill, and let us see it disappeared. Okay, great. So it means that now we have already generated a chart area which we want to plot manually our histogram, which is based on unequal values on this one. So let us see how. Let us call this histogram for unequal intervals. Okay. We are going to insert what? Insert shapes, and let us go for rectangle. So let us take this rectangle and start to draw the first one. The first one, as you see, is the class interval that is up to 5, and that is representing the frequency density, which is also 5. So it's 5 to 5. So this is the first one. Okay, that's quite simple. What is the next one? The next one is, it will be from 5 to 25. Let us go again to insert, then go to this rectangle, and this one now, the height of this one will be the 8, that is represented, or as you see here that we have 8 and it is not like indicating, so maybe you need to make it more specific. Fine, then right click on this one and look at in the options, the measure here is coming by, if we specify it is here, the measure is coming at 5. So let us make it 1. Let us see what will happen. Now we got it. Okay, it's up to 21, and it is enough because we need only up to 20. At the same time here, it is showing you, look, it is showing 1 by 1. So this is what we want to have. We want to have the exact dimension. So the second histogram will be, the height of it is 8, as you see. So let us simply make it exactly 8. Okay, and the width is here from 5 to 25, so it will be from 5 up to 25, as you see right now. So that becomes the second histogram. So let us go for the third one, insert shapes. Okay, and this is the third histogram, which is the frequency density of it is 20, as you see, and it is between 25 and 30, so it is between 25 and 30, and the the frequency density is 20. Okay, so this is coming like this. Let us adjust it to be correct. Okay, so alhamdulillah, it is done. So now, as you see, we have drawn manually the histogram, which is showing us the correct picture of our data. If I want to indicate the frequency now, I can simply type here the frequency now is what is 25, and the frequency for the next one is 160, and the frequency is 100. So if you look at this one, what is the meaning of this? Now we simply have, look, I'm making it greater or larger, putting in the middle, making this one also larger, make it in the middle, making this one also larger. It is just a label inside the rectangle and make it larger. Okay. Now, if you have a look to this one, see this is the real picture. Now compare this one to the previous one. Look, now this is the histogram. Look at this one compared to this one. It's totally different, as you see. If you look at the first one, you will see that 30 is coming the highest one. Here also 30 is the highest one. So this histogram now is drawing the real picture of the data. The height of this histogram is showing the frequency density. Let me put it here manually. So insert shape. Let us take this shape now. Again, this kind of rectangle, and if we put it like this, then we can say that this is the frequency density. And also we can move this. Anyway, it is also only enough to make it like this, just to show that this is the frequency density, and this one is the class interval down. So let us also put some small label to show that down the horizontal axis is the class width. So now, as you see, we have constructed this one, which is showing, say that this class, the frequency density is FD, okay, and the class width is CW, and the number that you see now is the frequency. This number is the multiplication of, as you see now, this 25 is the multiplication of 5 multiplied by 5. 160 is the multiplication of 5 multiplied 5. 160 is the multiplication of 20 times what? Times 8. So as you see again, this is the class width CW, okay, and this is the FD. And as you see here, the frequency is the multiplication of the class width, which is coming here on the horizontal axis, times the frequency density, which is on the vertical axis. So if we compare or try to make it sure that is correct, look, 5 times 5 is 25, the frequency. 20 times 8 is 160, the frequency. 5 times 20 is 100, which is the frequency. Hope that you got some useful information about using histogram. Wassalamu alaikum.